Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review, and we're doing another pair of beers from the Elements of Beer. Well, I say a pair, I'm not going to be drinking them both today, but looking in the book, there's an interesting article, and we're talking about it, Romulus and Remus. I don't know if you can read those. Um, oh, actually, it's Remus and Romulus. It's round the wrong way in the book. Quality control from your pictures there, um, and it's from the Yeastie Boys, um, which are cool. Obviously, we're talking about yeast. And this one is Romulus. It's a Belgian blonde, and really interesting article that I've just literally closed. So I don't know if I need to find it out again. 3.4% on the ABV. Brewed and canned for Yeastie Boys in the EU, so it wasn't actually brewed by them, and then brought back over to Beer 52. So it's obviously been brewed, this particular one, yeah, by Beer 52, one of their outfits over in Europe. And it's a Belgian blonde, so maybe it was done in Belgium, who knows? But interestingly, we're looking at Binky, we're looking at Romulus. It's a Belgian blonde ale. Both these beers have Amarillo and Columbus as the hops. The malt bill is the same. Basically, everything is the same, apart from the yeast. And that was something I was going to write down, but because I'm a complete fool, I closed the page before I wanted to, which is the way, unfortunately. Let me see if I can find it. Reads me quickly. Yes, so the yeast in this one is WLP 550, White Labs, I believe that is, which is basically the, yeah, what's it called? The Belgian ale yeast from White Labs. So, yeah, really interesting. And when we compare the flavor profiles, the spider diagrams, although similar, I don't know how Beer 52 do these. No, that looks really heart shaped, and that one's slightly off, so it's a bit less piney, which is interesting because, yeah, we shall see, dear viewer, we shall see. Don't get me wrong, but piney is one of those things that comes from American hops, such as Columbus hops. I know it's kind of one of the fruitier hops, but it definitely does have that kind of green pininess that runs a lot through those type of hops. The sea hops, as they call them in the old days. But what I'm thinking is happening is it's the interaction between the yeast and the hops. Obviously, people are really hot on thiols and things like that. And I remember being at the Great British Beer Festival and seeing Andy Parker again, who, yeah, I bumped into a few times now. He doesn't recognise me at all, which is fair dues. I'm sure he bumps into a lot of different people. But he was doing yeast experiments and things too, I remember. And he had no, was it 4 or 6? It was either 4 or 6 experimental beers, and I thought that what he'd done is brewed a batch and then split the yeast, and it was purely the yeast. But it turns out, no, it wasn't. It was different batches of different beers, and I felt like a right idiot when I was talking to someone about this. So I said, no, I'm sure it's this, and then I turned out to be wrong because basically he lied to my face. So thanks, Andy. I still think your book is quite good, but yeah, don't do that, especially at a beer festival. Right, so we have the pinky, we have a glass slightly dirty, a well-used glass. This is done really well. This glass has probably had near enough up to sort of 1,000 beers in it, maybe even more. Right, should I do it with the little doggy or should I do it with the Yeastie Boys Experimente? Let's do doggy because then it'll be different. Hey, let's do doggy. Oh my God, that's not the first time I've said that. Oh my God, what's going on? Right, let us put that down. Wow, that does smell incredibly nice. So, got over a finger's head. It is nicely carbonated. Those bubbles are shooting up. It has been in the fridge, let me tell you. I am glad I put it in there because look, that's raging. My goodness, that yeast has had a fantastic ferment. Um, we have got some lovely fluffy clouds. Slightly darker. This is meant to be a blonde ale. I know they can get sort of orangey, but that seems reasonably dark to me. Now, I'm definitely getting Belgian kind of esters coming off on the nose. No surprise, no surprise, no surprise. Because the Belgian yeast, it does pick out those kind of. This one's a bit more clovey. I know sometimes. No, the banana is there too. We'll see more on the taste once I get there. I was thinking, could I smell the citrus? You know, because Amarillo is a citrusy orange stroke citrus hop, and I believe Columbus sometimes has a bit of citrusy stuff. It's not as in your face citrus as the new hops are, um, but Columbus has I definitely remember being a Columbus fan. Maybe not as much as Centennial and Cascade, which was everywhere, but even Cascade has kind of gone back a bit in time. It's not fashionable anymore. West Coast IPAs, um, they were all about Cascade, Centennial, Columbus, Chinook, all the C's. There was a thing called triple C hops, and there were three different C hops in a West Coast IPA. Created fantastic beers. Anyway, this is not holding up too badly either. Look at that head still hanging around. Let us see what we get from this bad boy. Cheers and beers to you, dear viewer. Um, yeah, it's still the weekend, just about. We'll see what we get from this one. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I was going to say it's got that kind of sourness up front, which is kind of synonymous with the Belgium kind of style. Definitely banana there, but instantly I got a sort of whack round the face with some zest. Um, I was going to say it's kind of grapefruit, but it's not that sharp. So maybe it's a kind of grapefruit stroke orange kind of hybrid. You know, that kind of um, zesty kind of but sour orange. Maybe like a blood orange zest, that kind of thing. But yeah, interesting because we've got that banana thing coming on from the yeast, the esters from the yeast used. And maybe that, yeah. Oh, I tell you what, yeah, maybe that kind of cloviness, which I could detect on the nose, I suspect that's mixing a bit with the citrus, with the orange. Pardon me. I'm getting kind of Christmas type flavors. It's almost like a mulled drink, like a. I was going to say like a mulled cider, but of course it's not cider. Imagine a sort of um, mulled drink, cider stroke, yeah, wine, but with an orange taste. It's really weird. You know, in fact, at Christmas we went to the local church and we went to the Christingle service. That's the one where the kids have an orange with a candle in the top, but it's traditional. I don't know why it is, but it's traditional for them to put cloves in the orange as well, um, and then wrap a bit of tin foil around the bottom. That's so they don't set themselves on fire, basically. Um, and the orange is meant to represent the world, and the candle in it in the top is meant to represent Jesus and the light of our lives and all that kind of stuff. But when you take it home and the zest kind of starts interacting with the cloves, if you sniff that is what I'm kind of tasting in this beer. Yeah, really interesting. But that wouldn't happen if you didn't use the Belgium yeast, because you wouldn't have those clovey kind of esters. The banana is in there too, and that is weird because orange and banana, for me, don't really go together. It's like a zesty fruit, and I mean they're both kind of tropically fruits, I guess, but yeah, weird. Yeah, but it's got that sourness. It's got that kind of. It's not a sour. It's definitely not a sour beer, or a lambic or whatever you would call it. It's not that kind of sour. It's a sour taste from the kind of sour bitterness of the orange kind of oils or um, yeah, what's going on there. I'll tell you what's weird is Amarillo. I usually get more of a marmalade type taste, but this isn't. This is reasonably juicy. Um, Not quite a Simcoe juiciness because that's or a Mandarina Bavaria one. They tend to be more juicy flavored hops, but like in a fresh way. This is kind of in a in a sour kind of way, which is really interesting. Um, Normally, Belgian golden beers, golden ales, if you like, are stronger. Um, Belgium strong, obviously, is another the way of talking about them. They usually can get up to sort of 8 or 9%. This one's a lot less. This is 3.5%. So it's very unusual for the style, but really interesting flavors. And I really like what the Yeastie boys have done. Um, the other one we're going to talk about tomorrow. Even though I might drink it tonight, I'm going to release the video, shall we say, tomorrow. Um, but what I understand is, and that's using USO5 as the other hop, which is really neutral, kind of. Well, USO5 is actually a fermentis yeast, which is French, so it's not very far from Belgium, but they use it in kind of US style beers, but it's not going to be as estery as this one. And I believe the temperature range for when you do the fermentation is different. Don't quote me on what it is because it's been a while since I've done brewing. But I'm pretty sure that in fact the USO 5, I think the temperature range is kind of 18 to 20, I think. And I'm pretty sure the Belgian one's a bit warmer. Is that right? Or am I thinking of it the other way around? I'm sure USO 5 is around 20, but not quite there, just under. Who knows, dear viewer? If you're really lucky, I'll try and find out and see if I can work out the temperature difference, because that would be the other difference. To do this perfectly, and you're never going to do it perfectly, are you? You would use the different yeast, but you would control the temperature so it's the same temperature as well. Obviously, things like Kveik yeast, um, they tend to go for, or they like a lot warmer temperatures, and they get done really quickly. But it puts more sour kind of yeast flavor in. So I'm wondering, yeah, what temperature they brew this out. It'd be really interesting. Oh, and look, the head is still there. It's sitting right at the bottom. There's a tiny bit of beer left, but there's a good amount of head left too. And as you can see, lovely, lovely lines of foam of head. And if we go into foam watch, I mean, look at that. It's lovely, lovely, creamy foam. That is what I love to see on my beers. It's really disappointing. It partially due to the glassware as well. And people used to rub kind of salt on the inside. I never did that because I don't like salt, number one. We have far too much in our diets, um, as far as I'm concerned, because it's in everything. But people used to rub a bit of salt around it on the inside of the glass, and that would kind of get the bubbles to stick to the side of the glass. Don't worry, pardon me, dear viewer, I never do such shenanigans, but some people used to. This is really interesting. I I didn't realise how interesting this edition is or would be, and I'm sad I didn't kind of save back some of the beers because I would have really liked to do kind of more comparative analysis. Um, but yeah, I just drank a lot of them. I don't know why. The end of last year, um, yeah, I was kind of burying my head in the sand. Maybe a bit of slight depression coming up to Christmas. Don't know why, but I was drinking a lot, and now not so much. So sorry if there aren't so many videos. I know I've released quite a few back to back, and that will continue. But overall, I'm going to be drinking less. Um, yeah, which is good for me, and hopefully it's good for you because you get better quality reviews. And we're creeping up near 20 minutes again. So I'm waxing lyrical. I'm definitely getting much into this. Last month you would have seen a review of like 5 minutes, and I'd just be necking beer and probably not talking so much about it. But I'm really glad that I'm back in the zone, as it were. This has been Unclejona, drinking for your entertainment, dear viewer. Um, and I'll be back. And I'll be back with another beer review. It's gonna, you know what it is already. It's Remus, and that's going to be coming up real soon.